All right, it is time for the last TBR of the year, my last chance to get some reading in, and because I've been a tiny bit slumpy, it's not going to be as big of a TBR as normal. I'm not going to try to be super ambitious because I want to give myself plenty of space to not read or mood read, whichever one I'm feeling. But I am participating in the Reindeer Readathon, and the books that I do have planned to read will work for prompts for that and for my team, which is Team Candy Cane with Lezlie the Nerdy Narrative as my host. I will have announcement videos for this readathon down below if you are interested. It's super fun, has a great website, there's a Discord. It's really well put together. One of the reasons though I wanted to join it is I liked the prompts. I liked how you could get bonuses for certain prompts and things like that. I don't know. A lot of what I wanted to read I felt fit in. And yeah, I'm a sucker for team-based readathons too, just like an absolute sucker. So we're going to go through that. I'll go through the prompts that I am actually going to have reads for. I'll talk about some books that might make it on based off things that I might not have finished in November, but I can't tell because USA Thanksgiving is the week after I'm filming this. I'm filming this ahead of time because I travel soon, and I don't want to have to film while I'm traveling, except for maybe vlog footage. That's it. So we're going to get into it, starting with the first prompt that I'm going to complete, which is Dasher, which is finish a series. And I will be finishing the Tawny Man trilogy, Fool's Fate. This is also going to have, I think it's called The Christmas Star bonus prompt. Yes, this is definitely a book that is over 500 pages, and it works for Dasher. So I'm going to have it for both of those things. And yeah, I just really want to wrap this up. I want to wrap it up. I want to see where it goes. And even though I'm slumpy, the audiobook for this tends to work really well for me. And I imagine that there's going to be some important series implications in this. Like not just Tawny Man, but Realm of the Elderlings because of where we're going and what we are attempting to do or not do. I know Fitz is going to be at the impasse of a lot of things, and I'm going to be very frustrated in his thought process while he tries to figure it out. But I'm prepared for that. And honestly, though, Fitz books do always feel like winter reads, so I'm at least in the right season for it. Fall and winter. I know I sometimes say it's fall too. It just feels like I'm cold, okay? The Six Duchies always feel cold to me. Always. Next prompt that I have, because I don't have anything for Dancer. None of my books that are around me on my physical TBR or anywhere near me have what I would call elegant or cursive font. But I do, and I don't have anything for Prancer because the one book I'd have for Prancer I'm using for a different prompt because I think it gets more points in the other prompt. Yes, it does, because I'm maximizing points. But I do have a prompt for Vixen, a book you want to read but think it might be overhyped. This is A Gathering Storm. This is book 12 in Wheel of Time. This is the first Brandon Sanderson book. And this is also going to have Christmas Carol, which is, I think, read an audiobook because I read these primarily audiobook. If I do end up changing that, I can figure out other things. I'm sure one of these books, more than one of these books will be audiobooks. So that audiobook prompt can be moved around. But this is the first Sanderson Wheel of Time book. And everyone loves it. Like, even people who had a horrible time with the slump, even people who got burnt out on Jordan. I don't know people who have made it this far that didn't think Gathering Storm was a huge step up from, say, Crossroads of Twilight. But considering it's me, and it's me reading The Wheel of Time, I think it might be a little overhyped for me. And I'm just trying to temper my expectations. Because even though Brandon Sanderson is one of my favorite authors of all time, the content of Wheel of Time is not my favorite of all time. It's been interesting, but it's been so meandery that I haven't had a way of really connecting. But I've made it this far. I only have 3 books left. And I'm reading it with my friends, Roger and Stephanie. And I'm sure, because now we got Roger joining us for the end of this. By the time we're done with book 14, sometimes next year, we'll do a live show discussion of our entire journey with this. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be worth it. We're going to have a lot of interesting things to say because Roger and Stephanie definitely loved this series more than me going into it and are definitely more the readers for this type of fantasy. And I've had a very different experience than them because I didn't hate the slog as much. It should be fun. That's a tangent for a future time. So then the next one is Comet. So this is where I couldn't use my book for my favorite colors for my season because I'm basic and my favorite season is fall. So red, orange, brown, whatever. I don't have that many, but I did recently get Heart of the Sun Warrior. This is very fall looking, right? Well, Comet is a book with an astronomical word in the title, and we've got some sun here. So this is meant to be a buddy read with a bunch of my TV crew tag. I'll list our tags down below. We recently did a Murder, She Wrote one that was an original tag by Stephanie, who is buddy reading Wheel of Time with me. Stephanie and I read a lot of things either at the same time or we buddy read them, and it's glorious, and I love it so much. But anyways, this is the last book in the, I don't know what it's called, Daughter of the Moon Gods. I think it's the Celestial something series. I don't know what the duology is called, and I don't think it's like easily written. Celestial Kingdom duology. It's on the back of the book. I can't talk about what I know might be happening in this book because it will spoil the first book, but I want to read it, and I have it, and it's very pretty, and it works for this prompt. I don't think I have a bonus for it, but Comet's pretty good. The fact that I actually already had a book I wanted to read with sun in it, that doesn't usually happen for me. Normally when I'm in a readathon and it's like those very specific words or shapes on covers, I'm like, well, it's like with the elegant cursive writing, I'm like, I just don't have anything. Cupid will probably end up happening naturally, but I won't know what that is because I'm saving that for like the mood reading sort of situation. But Donner, a book that you want to read but are not a fan of the cover. This is A Long Petal to the Sea. This is going to be my first Isabel Allende. This is for my local book club. I was so over the moon excited when they voted for this. I have been trying to get us to read an Isabel Allende book for so long. So long. And we're going to read it. And like, I don't even care. I've already convinced myself she's going to be one of my next favorite authors in literary space. I could be wrong, truly, but she's my aunt's favorite author, and like I just want to really like it. I just really do. This is 1930s. We have a couple who was forced to get married and flee Spain during some of the dictatorships in the 30s and flee to Chile in exile. And it's about their exile there. And then I think World War II probably takes place in the backdrop. And it's about probably how they live their lives in exile. And that's the type of historical fiction I do tend to like. But I don't love this cover. I think it's fine. I think it could have been prettier. Like, I was actually hoping this would have been good for, like, my elegant cover, and I just think it's fine. And then the last one that I have is Blitzen. Use a random number generator to find a number 0 and 9 and find that as the last page. And this was so serendipitous, guys. This was everything. So I did a random number generator, and you're just going to have to trust me, because I did do it, and I got the number 6. And then I'm like, okay, my patrons want me to read this book this month, the one I'm holding below the camera that you haven't seen. Please let this end with that number, because I truly didn't know where else this was going to go. And that's Persuasion by Jane Austen. It ends in a 6. I was so excited. Where the book ends. Like, I think probably the last page doesn't. But on the page that says the end, 236. Yes. Persuasion. I feel like I don't have to describe it. I don't even know what it's about. But it's my friend Evie's favorite book, I'm going to say, of all time. I'm sure that's not actually 100% true, but it's because we got Frankenstein, we got Bear and the Nightingale, we got a lot of contenders there. But I know Persuasion is a big one, and I've had this book for 2 years. I'm finally going to read it. I know there's several audiobooks I can choose from if I end up wanting to go that route, but I did like Jane Austen's writing style when I read Pride and Prejudice in high school, so I don't think the prose style will be a problem. And I also do feel like reading a classic like this near wintertime is very, like, that's a mood. But I do think these types of covers are very boring. Like, no hating on anyone who loves these types of covers. They don't speak to me. I don't know what this means. But I'm hopeful. I'm truly, truly hopeful. And then the last one, I might have said that this was the last one for the readathon, but I was wrong. The last one is Rudolph, which is Start a New Series, and that's going to be Half a Soul. I don't know if I'll actually get to it, but I'm for sure not getting to it in November, and I had it on my November TBR, and I'm still kind of really wanting it. I think I need that type of levity. Maybe it'll be something my mood really wants while I'm in this weird reading space, so I wanted to keep it on the list tentatively. And also, like, I love reading romance this type of year, so hopefully. So those are the things for the readathon. One of the bonus prompts is for reading an ebook. I read so many ebooks, man. Like, one of the ones that doesn't already have a bonus, I'll put the ebook prompt on. That's the plan. And then I have 2 other things I'm going to talk about because they are going to be read, but they don't really work for the readathon. One is I'm going to be finishing Terraform. I think we'll almost be done in November, but not quite. I don't know. We might be done by November, but just in case, we'll be reading the last couple stories of this at the beginning of December. So jury's out on if this will be on the November wrap-up, and this is, like, really redundant. But for sure, though, I have the audiobook, and this just came in the mail today, and I was so excited. But Africa Risen, this is a short story anthology, all new releases. I think these are all 2022 stories. And I have the audiobook for this, and we're just, the buddy read crew who's been reading Terraform, we're just going right into this. And honestly, I'm not mad. If I can convince them to keep reading short stories with me for, like, ever, that's fine. And those are my friends, Kristen and Shannon. I'll link their YouTube channels down below along with anyone else I have mentioned. And yeah, I'm just really excited about this. I love the cover. The inside has beautiful green end pages, and it's like a very yellow book. But I'm really glad I have it. it's been my year for short stories and anthologies. Like, it's been a good year for that. It's been a weird year for a lot of other things, and a lot of other things have been misses. But I've been having fun reading my short stories and anthologies, and I think I've finally, like, learned how to make that the most fun for me. I don't know. I'm going to definitely, while we get into this end of the year time, I'm going to be looking at the months and the moments where I have my best reading memories and figure out, okay, what were the conditions that led to that? I'm going to be very sciencey about it and just, like, figure out, okay, so how do I maybe attempt to recreate this energy? Because I do think there are probably some patterns and trends in terms of when I had lower reading moments versus higher. Or maybe when I look, it's just all going to be random and I just have to hope. Who knows? But that's this TBR, and I am excited. I love a good team-based readathon, and a lot of these, like I said, are things that I was planning to read, already had to read, and like you saw, it's a shorter TBR. So for sure, I can get it done without being stressed, but plenty of room to add things on as my mood wants to go. Because, like, there's a part of me that's like, do I just reread some of my favorites? Because that might happen. I might just want to reread The Best of All Possible Worlds. I can totally see myself doing that. Maybe just Nettle and Bone again. Like, why not? I could see myself rereading things. I just want to do what feels right, though. And I don't know what that'll be. But I am going with it. And I hope you have a lovely TBR plan. Remember, I'll have the announcement video down below for the Reindeer Readathon. If you want to leave an emoji, leave either candy cane or like a Rudolph or Reindeer sort of situation. And like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.